The Subway 400 on Fox set to roll as the field warms up on a chilly, very windy but sunny day in the Sandhills of North Carolina. 400 miles. Hi everybody, Mike Joy with Larry McReynolds and Darrell Waltrip. Now at Daytona, the best car with the best driver won. Darrell, what combination do you need to win on this place?
Well, what the crew chief's going to wait for when that driver starts whining, when he starts screaming on that radio, and it isn't going to be long, is it, Larry?
The pace lap.
As soon as those tires start going away, that driver's going to start screaming, "I can't drive this thing. You, not me. You got to do something."
But the good thing about it, I can do something here at Daytona for 11 days. If my car was good, it was good. If it was bad, I couldn't do anything to that car to make it faster. But here, I can make those adjustments. Real critical to make that right adjustment on that last pit stop.
Now, what tools do you have at your disposal here to make that car handle differently?
Well, the thing about it, this racetrack's going to change all day long. And even a car that's leading the race, and it's hard to do sometime, that crew chief has to keep up with this racetrack. I'm going to make adjustments on that car, small adjustments, but I'm going to make adjustments even if I'm leading.
At the beginning of the day, they're holding up four like this. At the end of the day, they've held them up so long, they're holding them up like that. That's
four tires every stop.
Time you come down pit road.
That's a good adjustment.
That's a good adjustment. That'll make that driver happy.
The Bud Pole Award. For the first time in his career, Dave Blaney is the Bud Pole winner. Budweiser, official beer of NASCAR and proud sponsor of the Bud Pole Award, given to the fastest qualifier at each Winston Cup race. Since 1979, Anheuser-Busch has awarded more than $8 million as title sponsor of NASCAR's Pole Award program. Well, congratulations to Dave and his new crew chief, Booty Barker, and that whole Jasper Engines and Transmissions team. He'll be on the pole as we take a look at the Napa starting grid, and Johnny Benson, who got his first career win right here in October, is right alongside a Ford and a Pontiac. Row 2, Mark Martin, twice a Winston Cup winner here, and Sterling Marlin, runner-up in this race a year ago. Bill Elliott, 3-time Rockingham winner. Ricky Craven, 8 top 10s here. Jamie McMurray, who won at Charlotte last October, and Rusty Wallace, a 5-time winner here, making his 600th career start today. Dale Jarrett and Bobby Labonte, who both won here in 2000. That's your top 10. Have a look through the rest of the starting grid. And we'll have Darrell crank up the old wireless here.
Hey, JB, this is Darrell Waltrip up in the Fox TV booth. Bud, you got a copy?
Who was that? Not sure.
This is a DW up in the tower up here, guys. Can I talk to JB there a second?
Go ahead, guys.
You know, I don't think we're getting through to JB. He doesn't seem to. I don't think they know who it is.
Let's see if we can check back under a caution a little later on.
That's not unusual, because I know sometimes the radio and TV guys that come on my radio, and I'd say to Hammond, what's going on? Who are those people anyway?
The jet dryers are out, just blowing the track clean of mostly paper debris, wrappers and things like that, because we've had 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts here, and it's really raising havoc.
And we haven't had any cars on the track, you know, since Friday. So the track's pretty dirty, a lot of sand and dirt blowing around, really windy.
The reason you see two different groups out there, two pace cars, you have one pace car leading the top 20, the first 10 rows, and another pace car leading the rest of the field. This is for the first 2 pace laps, because this is where these guys get their RPM reading for their pit road speed of 45 miles an hour, and it's easier to divide them into 2 groups. You can get a little better reading.
And they've added 1 pace lap just to get the track blown clear. The jet dryer's pulling in now.
Plus it's cool. And sometime, you know, to get the temperatures up in the engines and everything, they'll add an extra lap or so also. So that's just kind of courtesy for the teams. Get the fluids hot.
43 cars starting. There you see 393 laps, 400 miles. The pit window, we have 2 pit windows. We have the fuel pit window that we always talk about, but trust me, this is the one we'll be talking about most of the day, and that is the tire pit window. About 65 to 75 laps. If you try to go 90 laps on those tires, my driver is going to be whining.
Yeah, and early on particularly. I mean, as long as you can come in and get tires early on, that's what you'll do. Now, later in the day, when you get some rubber on the racetrack, tire wear will improve, and somebody will start stretching it out 85, 90 laps.
We were told that due to the lack of practice, and there was only one 1-hour practice session, that NASCAR will consider a competition yellow at approximately 45 laps if the yellow flag is not flown for an incident on the track prior to that, so teams can come in and check tire wear and their setup.
Yeah, and what you do, Mike, and Larry knows this, the crew chief, he just watches the stopwatch. And you're going to slow down, but when you get really, really slow, that's when he'll bring you in.
And you know, even though the air temperature is quite a bit cooler than we had the other day, because the sun's out, the track temperature is actually a little bit warmer than we had in that 1 hour practice the other day. There was no sun the other day, but the wind, it won't mess with the cars quite as bad, obviously, at a place like it would at Daytona, but that kind of wind, it will blow these race cars around. You'll feel it down the front. It's a headwind down the front here, and it actually makes the front of the car buck up as it goes down the straightaway, particularly if you're by yourself.
And here especially, Darrell, if your car starts to go off a bit, you can get lapped here in a hurry. Doesn't take long.
Oh, yeah, there's no question about it. These guys mid-pack on back, you get somebody up front that's really running a fast pace, he'll put you down a lap in 30 laps. And that's the reason I'd be a little bit nervous about that 45 laps. If I was a little bit questionable about my car, I'd say, can we not do it at 30 laps or 35 laps? That's right in the I just got lapped window.
All right, Pontiac safety car is going to make that hard left turn this time.
All right,
race number 2 in 2003. Here we go.
All right, we're coming down here, folks. They're on their feet. Green flag. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys.
Mark Martin in that 6 car, he's putting pressure on Dave Blaney in that 77 early. He wants to get those 5 points for leading this first lap early. Blaney's on the high side, though, gets that momentum going.
And this is the first lap that's been run on this racetrack since Friday.
Dave Blaney leads the first lap by about 2 inches, I think.
Now, it's not just that Martin is so good at this racetrack, and he is, but this to me spells championship contender.
Well,
right from go.
This is totally uncharacteristic. Mark Martin is not a guy that goes up there and takes it to you. He usually lets it come to him, but today he wants it bad.
Not yet. Blaney holds on, lap 2.
And this is the first time Dave Blaney has ever led laps at Rockingham.
And he's pumped. I mean, he's got a new crew chief. He says it's a new kind of car. Everything's different on this race car, and he is pumped, and he's poised to go fast all day long.
Single file. Ricky Craven coming up hard on the outside. Matt Yoakum.
Well, Mike, in qualifying, Mark Martin remarked to his team he couldn't believe how well that 6 car turned on his qualifying attempt. He told his team this morning, if this car turns all day like it did in qualifying, it doesn't get extremely tight, look for us to stomp them. That's confidence.
But Darrell, the 32 car, Craven right there, the Tide car, you about knew he was going to be the first one to start moving that race car up the racetrack. That's the great thing about Rockingham. You can run all over the place. You can run low at one end, high at the other.
Yeah, that's kind of what you do. The car dictates where you're going to go. Of course, some drivers like to get up there against that fence. They feel a little bit more comfortable up there.
And already we see cars climbing the hill, especially down in turns 1 and 2, working the high end of the racetrack.
Now, folks, if you're at home there and you got a piece of paper, just take you a piece of paper and draw you a great big D. And that's what this racetrack is shaped like. When you come off of turn 2 onto the straight part of your D, there's not a lot of room. But when you come off of turn 4 around this big sweeping front straightaway, you can let the car do some different things. That's why you might run different lines on both ends of the racetrack.
And the field is now strung out the whole length of the back straightaway. Dave Blaney, Mark Martin, Bill Elliott, and there goes Craven up to the high side again. That's what makes this racetrack so fun to watch a Winston Cup race at. So many different choices of lines.
You can get such a run off of the corner when you're up high like that. Your car's free. You're back in the throttle a lot earlier, and you can really get a run down the straightaway when you get up high like that.
What's happened to Johnny Benson, dropping from 2nd to 6th? Got hung on the outside for just a bit. Now he and Sterling Marlin battle for 6th spot.
Well, there's battling going on everywhere right now.
And you know, Darrell, if the car likes the high line, I like it as a crew chief because that's a little easier on the tires up there. You're not working them as hard as you would if you were at the bottom of the racetrack.
Oh, what we said, when you get down in that hole, down on the bottom right there, and you're working that wheel and grinding that right front tire, it won't take it very long.
Steve Burns on Johnny Benson.
And Mike, there may be nothing wrong with Johnny Benson. Just seconds before the green flag, Johnny told his crew, guys, I'm going to be a little bit slow at the start, but hang with me. Once we get going, this thing's going to be bad fast.
Patience. Meanwhile, Craven is closing on the leaders. There's the gap to that bright orange Pontiac of Ricky Craven, and it is narrowing every lap.
And so many new things. I know they sat on the pole here a year ago. They've always ran well here. This is actually the same chassis. We got Mark all over Blaney here for the lead coming off turn 4, and he's going to lead lap 9.
I think that Blaney may have said, okay, Mark, you're hounding me. I'm going to let you go. That's good driving.
Well, Mark got right up against Blaney's left rear corner, kind of edged him out of the way.
And it broke his momentum. Craven's going to take the second spot away down the backstretch. But again, this is the same chassis they ran here. But remember, they've made the swap from the Ford to the Pontiacs, and that's a big engine change as well.
I'm going to show you what happened going down the back here just a moment ago. We talked about good, tight, close racing all in the field. Watch these guys. They come up turn 2 here. The teammates ran into each other. Got some damage on the back of the 38 car there. I think Dale Jr. must get into the back of him. Coming up off the corner. Whoa, checked up. That was almost a big one.
There with these guys, they have 10 laps on their tires. Already these things are starting to slide around.
Yeah, Dale Jr.'s got damage. He hit the back of the 38 car and it damaged the left front. He's got it into the tire.
Got a small left front fender rub there, Junior. Just in the corners.
Now that may or may not be a problem. You can wear that down, push that, the tire will push that fender out of the way as long as it's not affecting the way it's driving. But if it's hanging up in the fender, he's not going to like that.
Meanwhile, Bill Elliott has moved to 3rd. Rusty Wallace to 4th. Blaney fades to 5th.
And this is so gut-wrenching for a crew chief, Darrell.
Still inside.
That's Ty Norris's spotter talking to him right there, because you know you need to bring that thing to pit road to get that fender off that tire. But if you do it here, as long as this pit road is under green, you're going to go a minimum of 2 laps down.
Just have to leave it up to the driver. I mean, I always hated that when they said that you make the call. I hated to have to do that, but you're out there in it, so you know what you got to do.
13 laps complete in the Subway 400 on Fox.